Good morning, this is Keith All, and today's tutorial will be on how we can create a paper cut effect like you see here on your screen in Photoshop. So this will be the end result, and what we'll do is we're going to create it from scratch. So as you can see, you have this like a drop shadow here along here, and it looks like it's a paper cut where you insert something behind that paper cut. So let's go to our new document and let's create this. So basically you can create any background color that you want. I'm just gonna select what's in my current foreground color. I'm gonna use the paint bucket tool and then do that. And now let's create a text layer, selecting the horizontal type tool. I should already have my type the way that I want it, and I'm going to use a white text. Okay, let's click on the check mark up here on the options bar, or press enter to accept it. Now let's center the text. I'm using a PC, so Control A will select your border around your canvas. Let's go up to the move tool here, and let's do the horizontal and vertical centers. Okay, now let's hit Control D to deselect our selection. And now what we need to do is create a new layer. So we'll come over here in the layers panel and click on the layers new layer icon. Now we want to create the same color as this background for this new layer. So let's go over to the paint bucket tool. Okay, now our next job is to move this top layer down so we can see the text. Okay, now what we need to do is rotate it. So we press Control T to for the free transform, and let's rotate it. Let's move it. Let's move it down just a bit. Okay, that's good. And I'll press enter to accept that, to apply that. And now what we want to do is we want to create a drop shadow. So let's go over here to this layer and double click on it to bring up the layer style. And then let's go over here to the left and select drop shadow. Now as you can see, it already created like a drop shadow along this area. So I've already selected what we need to do. Blend mode is multiply. The color is black. Use a 50% opacity. The angle is at 90. Let's see what happens if we do minus 31. Creates a little bit more of a shadow. And then our distance is 15, our spread is 0, and our size is 109. So let's click OK to accept that. Now our next job is to erase basically this shadow in this area. But I'm going to show you something, what's going to happen if we do that, if we don't take the next step. So let's first do this. Let's create the eraser tool. Now watch what happens when I start erasing this section. If I do that, it still creates like a drop shadow effect on the edge of that's still visible. And what we don't want is that we want to like a transition where once we erase this portion, it still creates a seamless effect of the colors between the two layers. So I'm going to press Control Z, and what we need to do is create a duplicate layer of this layer that we have here that's sitting on an angle. So we come over here, right click and select duplicate layer, accept it, and now what we want to do is we want to turn off the effects of that layer that we created. So meaning that it's not going to have a drop shadow, it's just going to be a separate layer with this color, the red color. So I'm going to turn that off. Okay, I turn that off. Now let's select layer 1. And now let's, I already have the paint or the eraser tool selected. So let's start erasing. So as you can see, it creates a seamless effect. So there's no drop shadow in the area where I'm erasing. Let's increase my brush. Okay, let's go down here to the bottom. Okay, so what you can see now is there's a seamless effect up in this area. It's like no other layer is visible basically. So all we have is a drop shadow effect along this cut line right here. So that's why we needed to duplicate that layer. So our next step is we want to create a group between these two layers. So I'm going to hit Control, click, and then select those two layers. Now let's create a group. Okay. Now our next step is to duplicate that group, because what we want to do is we want to have the same effect on this side. So we're going to duplicate the group. So right click on that group layer and click Duplicate Group, accept the name. Now we have that. Now we want to move that duplicated group over to this side. So let's select the Move tool. And now let's move this over here. Now we want to completely rotate it by selecting Control T to transform it. And now let's rotate it. And the reason why we completely rotated it, because we want to have the same effect where this area is a seamless effect here. So let's click and drag this. Let's rotate it more so we have the same angle. That looks pretty good. Press Enter to apply this. Now you can see that we have that paper cut effect around this, the type area, the text area. So we have that same effect. It's seamless over here and down here, and the same thing on this side. So it looks like there's just a cut in the paper for this length right here. So hopefully that gives you new tools to work with Photoshop and help you with future projects that maybe you want to create this type of an effect. Again, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell notification so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be first to know about it. And always like, share, and comment, because it helps the community. It helps me teach better. If you have any ideas, again, please comment, and I'll get back to you, and I'll create a new video if that's what you want. So again, thank you for stopping by, and you have a great day. Bye now.